Well, I think with when it comes to us being able to talk about Israel and Zionism or Jewish power, any of these things, it's been a topic that's been taboo for so long. So like people are like finally able to talk about it, and they're going kind of nuts, right? I was like, yeah, so finally we can talk about it. So you get the people that are refined or able to articulate the problems at hand, whether it's our foreign policy being controlled by Israel or the Jewish lobby that runs America, whatever it may be. Then you get the crazies out there that is just like everything is the Jews, right? And it's like we have to be able to take an approach where we can identify the problems and not just be able to identify the problems, but be able to do it accurately so that our credibility stays intact. Now, when it comes to, what we got going on with these 200 troops, that does concern me because, when it comes to American troops in the Middle East, I'm always concerned. And, let's be very clear here. I will not put anything past the Israelis when it comes to false flags. People forget that, during the Bush administration, towards the end of it, I know you probably know about this, Alex, but for your audience here, for their purposes of them just knowing, the Israelis had tried to do a false flag with the Iranians before, posing as CIA operatives by getting militants from the Jundullah terrorist organization, Balokh basically, to make an attack in Tehran. And this happened at the end of the Bush administration. And he basically didn't have the balls to do anything and, reel the Israelis in. And they literally had Mossad agents posing as CIA operatives, funding these Jundullah guys to do an attack in Tehran, Iran, which could have created enormous geopolitical ramifications for us with foreign policy.
And we have the Levant affair.
Exactly.
We have the USS Liberty. So Israel's a thoroughbred at staging stuff to get us into a war.
They're good at
I'm concerned about this.
Hell, even with 9/11, yeah. So I'm concerned with American troops being in the region because you're right. They can easily, and another thing people need to understand when it comes to, Israelis is there's a lot of Arab Israelis. There's a lot of Muslim Israelis. There's a lot of Israelis that are white, that are black. They can fill in so many different roles.
Well, Israel is...
Wow. Show me a black Israeli. That is completely outlandish. False flags? What are you talking about, man? I'm super surprised that Myron Gaines entertains Alex Jones. Considering the fact that Alex Jones went through a lawsuit with Sandy Hook where he was found liable and after multiple lies and spread on the internet about Sandy Hook and about that whole incident where a white man didn't really go inside of a school and shoot a bunch of kids. I used to, listen to Alex Jones and stuff. I actually once believed in Alex Jones and, all of the things that he spewed, until I started to look at things for myself and I started to do my own research, and I found out that some of the things that he was saying was true, but a lot of the things that he was saying was also false. And he was spreading a lot of misinformation, and actually, which is what the whole Sandy Hook case was. As Myron Gaines was saying, Israelis are black and this and that. Show me one of the Israelis over there, in that particular region that is black. I'm open to possibly being wrong or possibly being corrected. I am objective, so but respectfully, I have not seen any black Israelis over there. If matter of fact, if there was any black Israelis over there, America wouldn't fight so hard to be saving the Israelis. That's just a fact. They have already actually started importing Israelis over here into America, just like they started importing Ukrainians over here into America. Y'all can check out my video. I made a video about Irina Zarutska. They call them refugees, but she was actually an illegal immigrant, a Ukrainian illegal immigrant, which they brought over here. They shipped over here, and they continue to do. There has been no media coverage of this, but let's continue.
That are white, that are black, they can fill in so many different roles.
Well, Israel has special brigades that are Arab.
Yes, absolutely. That speak fluent Arabic that are literally from, because people need to understand that there's Sephardic Jews who are Hispanic, there's Mizrahi Jews who are Arabs, there's Ashkenazi Jews who look white, there's Ethiopian Jews, the Somalian Jews, like they're from all over the place, right? So the reality is that when it comes to the Mossad, they can do these false flags and make it look like it came from a Hezbollah or from an IRGC or whatever. And
by way of deception.
Yeah, but That's literally their phrase with the Mossad is, by way of deception, we will create war or rise up and kill them first. So they will do anything that they need to do. And I don't like Americans being in the region. I'm very worried.
100%. So, but Netanyahu, I mean, Michael Sabajon, who's dialed into like top Israelis, he's pro-Israel, and he says Netanyahu's got to go. I mean, they have the lowest poll numbers in Gallup. Israel's the most unpopular country in the world.
Yeah.
My issue is I don't want to blow up Israel. I don't want to do all this. I'm not. But does everybody think about, as the whole world turns against Israel, how does that unfold? What does Israel do with nuclear weapons? Like, let's think about where this goes with this craze to get Israel, which gives Netanyahu more messianic power. He's getting all charged up. There's got to be a way to de-escalate this.
And people need to also understand that, like, you guys think Netanyahu's bad. The people behind him in the Likud party are even worse. He's the moderate, right? He's the moderate. When you look at people,
It's like they say, get rid of Putin, you'll get somebody 10 times.
It's going to be worse. So, and obviously Netanyahu also is dealing with a criminal investigation right now for corruption and, bribery and everything else. So he's obviously wants to hold on to power, and, he knows extending the war out will allow him to do that. I do see a war with Iran as being imminent. There were some rumors about like, oh yeah, he called Putin and said, I don't want a war with Iran, but I don't believe that. I think that a war with Iran is going to happen before the end of this year or early next year. I think that's going to be the next step after this whole
Well, that's
Hamas
the official
thing.
Israeli policy.
With the
Try to get Iran war.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They've been trying to do it forever. And it benefits them, right? Because they know that Iran is basically the last thing that's blocking them from complete hegemony in the Middle East.
So I'm going to ask you again, you're a smart guy.
I don't think
as this clash with Israel intensifies, where does that lead? I'm asking everybody, like, okay, whole world turns against Israel. Okay, you can't reform Israel. Okay, they got nuclear weapons, Samson option. Do people it's like, even if you hate Russia, which I don't hate Russia, they got their own problems, but the NATO started it. But now they want to keep pushing it. Trump's going to try to give them cruise missiles. So even if you hate Russia, we go to nuclear war. It's like, same with Israel. Like, it's like China. I don't like Xi Jinping, the communist, but like at a certain point, you can't appease them. At a certain point, you won't start a fight with them. My point is, like, Israel, Russia, China, they got nuclear weapons. So everybody who's obsessed with this fight, like, where does this lead?
Yeah, and this is why I'm so anti-war, because people don't understand that, like, nuclear warfare is not good for anybody. And I do think that we need to get out the Middle East and focus on China. I do think that China's a way bigger I think China's the real threat, honestly.
And when I say that, which is they literally froze all the rare earth minerals. They have 98% control.
Dude.
And Trump's right, like, with everything's made with that. China's been positioned to dominate. And every time I say, hey guys, let's spend 50% on Israel. Okay, fine. A little bit on China. Shut up, you work for the Jews. No, China is the big gorilla.
Yeah, it is. It is. And this is why I've been like, obviously I cover Israel quite a bit, Middle Eastern foreign policy, etc. But I think that
no, I do too. But there's this thing where it sucks oxygen out of the room.
Yeah, people get obsessed. And the reality is we need to focus on China. Like the reason why I'm so anti-war, we need to get the hell out of the Middle East and stop these wars.
Just get ready for China.
Is we need to focus on China. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like they are. I mean, if you compare
all the war games with AI show China's the issue.
Dude, not just that. Like, look at when they had their parade, right, versus our parade. They're marching in cadence. They're showing off all their weapons or whatever. What do we got? Like fat women, a bunch of fat dudes walking around. They can't even walk in cadence. It's like we need to.
And our enemies see that.
Yes.
You know what our enemies also see? Democrats versus Republicans all the time. You know what our enemies also see? Domestic white terrorists that are basically doing their job for them. You know what they also see? School shootings, church shootings. This white on white violence is global. They always talk about black on black violence, but white on white violence is the real issue here. You see, we have Europe, we got Putin, we got Netanyahu, we got Zelensky, we got Donald Trump, we got Little Rocket Man, we got President Xi. These are all white people. Yes, when we talk about black on black violence, we're not worried about nuclear war. We're not worried about possibly destroying the planet. White on white violence, we are talking about nuclear war. We're talking about possibly destroying the planet, possibly talking about the complete destruction of mankind. If we're being completely honest, if we are being completely objective and keeping it 100, let's keep it a buck. So that's why Myron Gaines is basically saying that we need to show a flex, and we need to show how strong we are, because we don't want anyone to think that America can just be taken over like what they basically did. So yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. It's your host, Dr. Trey Trey. Racing Topic Wars, man. And please like and subscribe for the algorithm. Let's do this thing, baby.